I can't keep this secret anymore, everyone needs to know what Xiao Zhan did that night. Wang Yibo's voice was shaking. The fans around him gasped, phones raised, recording every word. He looked straight into the camera, eyes dark with something between fear and heartbreak. If the truth comes out, nothing will ever be the same. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan had been inseparable on screen for years, interviews, award shows, fan events. To the world, they were the perfect team. But Yibo had started noticing things, strange things. It began backstage during a huge fan meet in Shanghai. Xiao Zhan's phone kept buzzing, the same unknown number, over and over again. Every time he saw it, his face would change. Not angry. Not scared. Just different. Then there was that night after the rap party. Xiao Zhan disappeared for 3 hours. No one knew where he went, and when he came back, his hands were shaking. "Bro, you good?" Yibo asked. Xiao Zhan smiled, but it wasn't the smile fans were used to. It was tight. Forced. "Some things, you just can't talk about," Xiao Zhan said, before walking away. From that night, Yibo couldn't shake the feeling that Xiao Zhan was hiding something. Weeks later, Yibo's curiosity got the better of him. One evening, while waiting in Xiao Zhan's dressing room, he noticed a small leather notebook on the table. It wasn't locked, but the moment Yibo flipped it open, he froze. Inside were sketches, detailed drawings of places Yibo had never seen before, old buildings, empty train stations, a hidden alleyway with a single red lantern. On one page, there was a single sentence written over and over. "When the time comes, you'll understand." Yibo confronted him the next day. "Zhan, what is all this? These drawings, this message, what does it mean?" Xiao Zhan's eyes darkened. "If you knew, you'd be in danger too." From then on, Yibo knew this wasn't just about privacy. Something bigger was at play. It all came to a head one rainy night in Beijing. Yibo had been followed, he could feel it. Footsteps behind him, stopping when he stopped, starting again when he moved. He ducked into a side street, only to find Xiao Zhan already there, waiting. "You weren't supposed to be here," Xiao Zhan said quietly. Lightning flashed, and for a split second, Yibo saw the same red lantern from the sketches glowing at the end of the alley. "I can't hide it anymore," Xiao Zhan said, voice trembling. "Everything you think you know about me is only half the truth." Then, Xiao Zhan pulled something from his jacket, not a weapon, but an old photograph. It showed the two of them, standing together in front of a building Yibo swore he had never seen before. The date on the back? 10 years ago. But they had only met 5 years ago. "We met before, Yibo," Xiao Zhan said. "You just don't remember. And the reason is why I've been keeping this secret." Yibo's heart raced. Memories he didn't even know he had started flashing through his mind, the sound of train whistles, the smell of rain, the red lantern glowing in the dark. Xiao Zhan stepped closer. "When the truth comes out, it won't just change how you see me. It will change everything." The sound of footsteps echoed again in the alley. Both turned their heads, but before Yibo could ask another question, Xiao Zhan was gone. The alley was silent except for the rain tapping against the cobblestones. Yibo stood there, his breath clouding in the cold air, staring at the empty space where Xiao Zhan had been just seconds before. No footsteps. No shadow disappearing into the distance. It was as if Xiao Zhan had simply vanished. Yibo ran forward toward the red lantern, hoping to find him, but when he reached it, the alley curved into a dead end. The wall was damp, solid, and there was no sign of a door or escape. He looked back, the lantern was gone. As Yibo stood frozen, a man in a long dark coat emerged from the shadows at the mouth of the alley. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "You shouldn't be here. He told you for a reason." Yibo stepped forward. "Who are you? Where's Xiao Zhan?" The man didn't answer directly. Instead, he handed Yibo a folded piece of paper and began walking away. "When you open this, you'll understand why you were never supposed to know." Yibo unfolded it under the dim street light. Inside was a map. Not of Beijing. Not of anywhere he recognized. But in the center of the map was a tiny red mark, the same shape as the lantern. Yibo couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, the photograph and the map appeared in his mind. By morning, he had made his decision, he was going to find that place. It took days of searching, cross-checking every old map he could find, until finally, he spotted it, a small, forgotten railway station deep in the countryside. When Yibo arrived, the station was eerily quiet. No trains had passed through in years. But there it was, the red lantern, swaying gently in the wind. He stepped onto the platform, and that's when he heard it, footsteps approaching from behind. Yibo turned, expecting to see the stranger from the alley, but it was Xiao Zhan. His clothes were different, older, worn, almost like he had stepped out of another time. "I told you not to come," Xiao Zhan said quietly, but there was no anger in his voice. Only sadness. Yibo held up the map. "You disappeared. You left me in that alley. I need to know the truth." Xiao Zhan sighed and walked toward the red lantern. "This place is where it started. The first time we met, the real first time, it was here. But something happened that night. Something that changed everything about who we are." He reached into his pocket and pulled out the photograph again, this time showing Yibo the back. There was more than just a date now. There was a message, written in faded ink. "Do not let him remember." Yibo's chest tightened. "Do not let him remember? Zhan, what am I not supposed to remember?" Xiao Zhan's eyes glistened as he took a step closer. "Because if you do, you won't be the same Yibo anymore." Before Yibo could speak, a low rumble filled the air. In the distance, a train whistle echoed, but this station hadn't been active for years. The ground beneath them vibrated. Lights from the horizon began to glow brighter. Xiao Zhan grabbed Yibo's arm. "It's too soon. You're not ready." The sound of the approaching train grew louder, yet when Yibo looked down the tracks, he saw nothing. Just empty rails. And then, without warning, the lantern's red glow intensified, flooding the station with light. Yibo shielded his eyes, but in that moment, he felt it, a rush of memories. The smell of rain, the sound of laughter, the warmth of a hand holding his. Xiao Zhan's hand. When he opened his eyes, the light was gone. So was Xiao Zhan. Yibo stood alone on the platform, the photograph in his pocket and the unanswered question burning in his mind. What happened that night 10 years ago? Some truths wait in the dark, until you're ready to face them. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to subscribe, because the next chapter is coming.